Hi guys, welcome to our Back to Work webinar. Unfortunately, summer is already over, at least in Poland where we're based, and we definitely feel it and see it through our windows. So it's the perfect time to focus on getting back to work and finishing all your projects in 2017. My name is Natalia, and I will be the panelist for today's webinar. And today we're focusing entirely on getting back to work after a long and relaxing summer season. You'll hear a lot about achieving all your yearly goals in time. And we are recording this webinar, so if you can't make it till the end, or if you want to refresh your knowledge later, don't worry, we'll share the recording soon. So today's webinar will take about an hour and a half. And firstly, Michael will share with you his 10 best tips to make sure that getting back to work is easy and simple, and that you can finish all your goals and tasks for 2017. And the second part of the webinar will be a standard Q&A session where we'll be answering the questions from you guys. You can submit your questions in the Q&A box that you can see at the top of your screens, right next to the chat box. Please remember to use the Q&A box instead of the chat box to enter your questions so that we can find them and filter them afterwards. And the chat box may be used to talk to us during the webinar. We'll also share some useful links and information for you in the chat box as well. All right, so before we officially begin, let me just ask you where you're joining us from today. So if you could just head to the chat window for me, please, and enter the city or the country you're from. Hi, we've got people from El Salvador, Chicago, Atlanta, Detroit, Croatia, California, South Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Houston, Virginia, England, Holland, Germany, Seattle, Chicago, Białystok in Poland, San Diego, Washington, D.C., welcome. St. Louis, UK, London, UK again, hi. Warsaw, Cape Cod. Amazing. All right, we've got so many different people from different countries and from around the world. So let me just welcome you again. We really appreciate the time that you're spending here with us. And we're going to see Michael in just a second. So let me just remind you that you can enter your questions during the webinar in the Q&A box at the top of your screen. All right, guys, so without further ado, let's officially begin our webinar and let's welcome Michael.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pumped. I mean, so many people from so many different places. Like there's no one different place. So I mean, there's a few people from Chicago, but like the rest is like all over the place. El Salvador, Cape Cod.
Yeah, and I didn't even read all of the countries because it was going so fast. So yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. It means like you're in the right place. If you want to get stuff done this year and then finish this year with a blast, this is the place to be. So thanks so much for being here. This is going to be very cool, very exciting time for us because we're going to just be going over very, very cool tips and tricks for you to help you get more done, to make this year like your best year ever. So yeah, I can't wait to share it. So maybe let's just let's get going, right?
Let's get right to it. Okay, so I'm switching off my camera, and good luck, and see you at the Q&A session.
All right. Okay, everyone. Thanks again for joining us here at this webinar, How to Get Your Projects Done by the End of the Year. And we're all about tips and tricks how to really get things done, very pragmatic, practical tips and tricks. So this webinar, take notes. It's going to be really intensive with lots of good advice. So and everything from my own pocket and from everything that we've learned from you, from our users, and also from everyone else. So test on myself. I've been testing these things for quite a while. So speaking of that. as you know, I am the founder of Nozbe, founder and CEO of Nozbe, a time and project management application, which has been around for 10 years now and is available for all the major platforms. So for the web, and of course for the Windows, Mac, iPhone, iPad, Android, and also the Apple Watch platform. So, everything syncs together, and we've got all these devices covered. And we've been doing this for the last 10 years. And people ask me, okay, 10 years in, Michael, what's next for you? And for me, what's next is the next version of Nozbe. I love doing that. I love helping people get more done. And this is why I'm also doing these webinars. And I love learning new things as well. As speaking of new version of Nozbe, we just launched version 3.6, which is a major release with Siri support on the iOS. So you can right now add tasks using voice directly through Siri, which is really, really cool. And also as a very, very, very much requested feature of searching in completed tasks. So you can find your old tasks, if you've completed something quite a while ago, you can still find it very, very easily. And much more coming in 3.6. So, stay tuned. For Android, we have Google Assistant support. So really, really cool stuff. Apart from that, I'm also doing the podcast.fm, which is a podcast about productivity, books, personal development, technology, passion, sports, like whatever comes to our minds. But, it's mostly about personal development, books, and everything we just learned and want to share with each other. It's like, a sounding board of ideas. And we've been doing this for the last 2 years. We've recorded more than 100 shows now. And recently, we've been featured by Apple. And we're so happy about it. So if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, thepodcast.fm, make sure to check it out. And if you have, make sure to leave us a good review in iTunes and Apple Podcasts. And again, thanks for the feature, and hope there's going to be more of it. We just reached the milestone of 400,000 downloaded episodes. So I think people are listening, and that's great. All right. So the question: how to get your projects done by the end of the year. And I have 10 ways for you to achieve that. 10 simple ways to get it all done. There you go. I'm going to go through them right now so that you know which there are, and then we're going to dive deeper into each of them. Okay, first one, take a deep breath. And what I mean by that, you're going to soon find out. Put out the fires. Group tasks in categories. Add margin. Plan ahead. Zero priorities. Group projects. Communicate through tasks. Avoid meetings. And review regularly. These 10 tips, I promise you, if you use one of these tips or all of them, you're going to get more done, and you're going to achieve, you're going to have the best year ever. So let's start with the first one. Take a deep breath. When we come back from vacation, from back to work, what we always want to do is very quickly get back to work, get back to the thing we just started, to make sure that we are on the same plate with the rest of the team. And I think it makes more sense to take a deep breath, to have, you come back, you can start with a few things that you have to work on, but it's more useful to actually take a break, take a perspective. If the things that you planned before the vacation, are they still relevant? If you still have to do what you have to do, if the things that people are putting on your plate are the things that you should be doing. So really take a higher perspective, take a deep breath, and review what you have to do. So this, this clue thing of reviewing what is that you have to be doing is really important. This way you can take control of what's happening, take control of the narrative, and not just be swamped by other people's agenda. Because otherwise, you come back and you're like, hey, it's great you're back. Have this, have that, and then you just start being overwhelmed, and you just blink, and there is the September gone, and there's October and November and December, and thank you very much, the year is over. So really take a deep breath and start planning and looking into what is that you really have to do in the coming in the coming months. How do you want to finish this year? What do you have to plan to do it? So really take a deep breath and really analyze and plan. And this is what I do. This is what I do in September, and this is why we've launched right now Nozbe, the back to work offer, which I'll talk about later. So the special offer for us to really to motivate everyone to just grab their Nozbe account, extend it for the next year, and just make sure that they have the tools and everything they need. And by participating in this webinar, they have the knowledge to really pull through and have a great year. So that's the thing. Take a deep breath and analyze what you have to do before you dive deep and start doing everything. Before the whirlwind of everyday work comes at you. And then second thing, put out the fires. So of course you came back from vacation and there are fires to be put out. There are people who will tell you, okay, you have to do this and that. This has to be done like yesterday. So yeah, so put out the fires. I mean, what I've found out is that even if you plan ahead and have like these big, things that you want to do, you cannot do them calmly if there are fires in between. And then there are things that, keep reminding you, I keep doing that, and you procrastinate on that because you want to do your thing. But this fire is coming back to you. So really put out the fires first, and this way you can pave the way to really do what really matters. So to put out the fires, what you have to do is you have to just, create tasks, for these things, for these fires, and start doing them. And it's really useful to use checklists. So, for example, like if the task is a little bit complicated, add a comment as a checklist, and then in checklist, step by step, what I have to do here to get it done. I mean, what needs to be done. This way, even a big task which you're procrastinating on can become less overwhelming, because you see, okay, there are just these 4 steps I have to do. I'm just going to do them, and that's it, right? So I would use checklists. This is one of my tips for you, and this is what I do every day. And second thing, if you find out that you've done a checklist and the checklist is long and it's complicated, and you see that there are many tasks to be done to really get this task done, it means this task is no longer a task, it's a project. So in Nozbe, you can easily convert a task to a project. You just tap on the three dots there and then convert to a project. This way the task becomes a project, and these checklist items become your tasks. And this way you can really plan the project, or maybe share the project with somebody else and get it done. So I would use that to really put out the fires. Another way to put out the fires and to get rid of the most urgent things is to batch them together. So I would use categories to group tasks and to batch tasks. So for example, phone is a great category. So you can mark a task with a phone in different projects. And then, for example, after you've eaten a lunch, you come back to your desk. Excuse me. You come back to your desk, and what you do is you click on the phone category, and these are the phone calls I have to make. You pick up the phone and you start calling people. It's really easy, and this way you start getting things done, and you get the momentum back, to be productive, and you've moved these projects forward. So it's really cool. Recently, I've had this situation when as a CEO, I have to sign, documents and sign deals, or sign, some, terms and term sheets and things like that. So I have things to sign, and I don't like that. I prefer working on Nozbe. I'm a product visionary. I prefer working on the product. But of course, I'm the CEO, so this is also a part of my job. So what I did was I created a category called things to sign. And then what I did was I put this category to all the tasks that, that required me to sign things. And then I grouped them together. And then I put all these things that I had to sign in a folder in iCloud Drive on my iPad. And this way I just took out my iPad, signed the documents, and read the documents, signed them, read, signed them, read, signed them. And then on the iPad app, I would upload them signed directly to the task using the iCloud comment connection in Nozbe. So I would just add an attachment from the iCloud Drive. I would attach the signed document and would delegate it to the relevant employees so that they have the contract signed and they can continue with what they were doing. So I batched them together. And this way, this job of signing wasn't that daunting anymore. I was just there. I was signing, reading, signing. I got this rhythm, this momentum going. And this helped me really, get rid of this. And now I don't have to sign any more documents, which is really great. Now that you've put out the fires, let's think about margin. So you've put out the fires. You want to plan your next days and your next months and weeks and months to the end of this year. What I would encourage you to do is don't be as optimistic as I am. I am a very optimistic guy. I think everything can be done in 5 minutes or less, and yesterday, right? And this optimism is good, is contagious. It helps other people, get more done, and it's good, and it helped us, stay afloat these 10 years and growing as Nozbe. But on the other hand, I find myself sometimes stretched too thin and doing too many things and not having the margin. So I would advise you to plan work for each day for 5-6 hours, not 8. Even though you work 8 hours, because there will always be things that will be coming up, and there will always be somebody who will ask you for something. So have that margin, and even if you've done everything today and you still have an hour to go, you can then do another task and it's a bonus. But this way you're calmer and you're more prepared. And if something comes up, you still have the time to react and to do something about it. So I would really encourage you to do that, to add this margin, not plan everything by the minute, the whole 8 hours, and don't be too optimistic. Optimism is good, but then you should always verify, if you've been planning well. And we also added like a different kind of margin in Nozbe. We have a policy called TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. And this is like a special policy which we do. It's like the idea is that we work hard from Monday to Thursday. And on Friday is a special day planned by the employee. So by each and every one of us, by the team member. And the idea is this: you have to do a weekly review, and we'll get to weekly review here in this webinar as well. But this is obligatory to do a weekly review to review what happened last week and prepare the next week. This is obligatory. And then later, it's time for you. You don't have to do the regular work. What you can do is, for example, you can spend the time on your personal development, on watching the videos, for example, of the courses that you wanted to attend, or there was a conference online and you want to watch it, or you want to participate in a webinar, or watch this webinar recording, for example, because we'll be sending you this webinar recording as well. So if you wanted to watch this webinar recording, you would do it on a Friday, and to make sure that you haven't missed a thing. So this way, we focus, on really getting the stuff done between Monday and Thursday, and then on Friday, to clean the desk, clean the documents, make sure that we are ready for next week, and also we have time for personal development, and then we have reviewed everything. So the Friday thing is it's a margin for us. This is the thing that whenever somebody sends us a cool article, for example, like in marketing, and I want to read it, I want to study it, I'm just gonna delegate a task about it. I put it on for a Friday, and on Friday I'm going to review it. So Friday is this typical day where we do these things, where we grow, where we get ready, for the next week. So I encourage you to try something out like that as well. And there's the whole description of TGIF is written on our blog, so you can check it out. So in Nozbe, we're all about getting things done, and this webinar is about getting things done. It's about how to get stuff done. And here is a chart that I like to show is how people are getting things done with Nozbe. So you can see here that every year more tasks have been done. And in 2016, 13 million tasks have been done by our users. So it's amazing growth. And this is the most important metric for me, because like the number of users is cool, the revenue, whatever, all these things are great. But do we really help people get stuff done? Like Nozbe, by definition, is a task manager or project manager, because this is how you call these things. But Nozbe is about doing things. It's a getting things doneer, right? It's a machine to help you get things done. So that's why for me, this statistic is the most important. I want to make sure that every year it's growing. So hopefully, with the knowledge in this webinar and with your Nozbe account, you'll be able to get lots of things done this year, and contribute to this year's statistics. And let's hope that we can get more done than 30 million, maybe 15 million, maybe 17 million, maybe 20 million. Let's see how we go. And speaking of that, actually now we have this special offer back to work, and the offer expires tomorrow. So order now. I will encourage you to order right now. The idea being that when you order Nozbe right now for a year, you get 3 additional months free. What it means is that not only you have Nozbe until the end of this year, you have Nozbe, you have your tool to get things done until the end of next year. Like today is 21st of September, so your account will expire on 21st of December next year. So basically just before Christmas. So you will have done a lot by then. That's why today is a perfect time to upgrade and to order Nozbe. So make sure to check it out. Make sure to go to nozbe.com/now and use the offer there, and automatically you will get 3 months extra. So when you pay for Nozbe for a year, you already get a discount, like 20%. So actually you already get 2 months free. And then on top of that, you get 3 months additionally. So this way you pay for 10 months and you get 15. So I think, it's a great deal. So make sure to check it out. We don't do these deals very often, and this one expires tomorrow. So check it out. Anyway, let's get back to our webinar, because I really want you to get more done and to be more effective and to get your goals ready by the end of this year. So the 5th one is about planning your day before. And this one is like, if you just do this, you'll be so more accomplished. This is amazing. I've been doing this for the last, I think, 2 years now. And it's really cool, because the thing is that, when you plan your day ahead, so when you, like, before tomorrow, like today, tonight, you plan your, not the whole day, but your most important things, your most 1, 2, maybe 3 most important tasks before you go to sleep. Then tomorrow you wake up excited to do these tasks, and of course more motivated, and you don't have to think what you have to do. You will just do them because they are the most obvious choice. Otherwise, you wake up in the morning and like, what do I have to do today? Maybe let's check Facebook and see what's up, or Twitter, or maybe let's check email and see what's coming. This way, other people will plan your day. But if you've planned the day before and you wake up excited, you will know exactly what to do, and you will postpone checking email, checking Twitter, checking Facebook or whatever to later, because you will first focus on these 1, 2, 3 tasks that you've planned for tomorrow. Anyway, I encourage you to not only plan these tasks ahead, but also have this kind of routine by the end of the day. So for example, here I have this end of day routine, which is a recurring task every day. And then I have a checklist. And as you can see, this is the new checklist that is available now in Nozbe 3.6, the latest version of Nozbe, where you can check all, and then you have the percent of completion of the checklist. This is a new thing that we have. And here I glance at today's priorities and see what I've done, what I haven't done, and what to do about them. I read my comments in the comment section of my team in Nozbe. I write a few things in journal, and then I plan 3 key tasks for tomorrow. This is what I do every day. And this really helps me, set a tone for next day. And also there is some evidence, or some ideas that because your brain is rewiring itself when you sleep, when you rest, when you've planned the day ahead, your brain might be working already on what you've planned. So actually, when you wake up next day, you might be more refreshed and also with more and better ideas than the day before. So really, planning your day ahead is great. It's great. And especially some of you, I'm sure, have tried early rising, for example, if you've been listening to Jeff, the 5 a.m. Miracle podcast. So if you want to try to, rise earlier and to get up off the bed earlier, if you don't have a plan, it's going to be a failure. So make sure to have a plan. Make sure to know exactly what to do when you wake up. So there's another thing for you, another tip, to create a morning routine. So when you wake up, you follow a certain routine, and this way you get more done. Number 6, 0 priorities. And 0 is a verb here. So what I'm telling you is to zero out priorities, to make sure that you have as few possible priorities at the end of the day as possible. So first of all, of course, zero out these most important tasks for you. But also, don't put too many tasks on your plate in priorities, because if you do that, the list will be overwhelming. It will be very long. Luckily, on the right side here in this view, you can see that you can filter out, the priorities. This way, you can see more, and the list is less overwhelming. You can filter with tag. I mean, with categories, with projects, with different parameters. But really, I would encourage you to plan less priorities, to make sure that you really get these done, to have this sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. I think it's really, really important. And that's why what I do is very often, if I know that I will not do it today, I'll just move it to a different date. So when I move it to a different date, I remove the star, and I know that Nozbe automatically will push this task for me on this day and push it to my private priorities. This way, I will just get more done, and I will have less to do today, and then I will have more. I will have planned it for the next day. And for me, what I do, there is a different trick here that I want to share with you, is that I have I have my week planned. I have themes for each day. So, for example, on Monday it's product, so working on Nozbe, and a little bit of management. And on Tuesday it's product. On Wednesday it's marketing. And on Thursday, it's marketing and also a little bit of management. And on Friday, it's review and personal development and catching up and things like that. So this way, if I have like a marketing task, I wouldn't schedule it for Monday. I schedule it for Wednesday or Thursday. This way, it's again, I pre-decided before how my week is going to look like. This way, it's easier for me to decide which task to move where. So where to move them, these tasks, when, and how to plan them. It's, again, I hope you see a pattern here, the pre-decision. So to decide first, pre-decide what you're going to do tomorrow, pre-decide when you're going to do things, helps you make quick decisions later and, manage your chaos, manage your tasks and projects more easily. Another tip is to group projects by labels. Labels is a much underappreciated feature of Nozbe, and I've been using it, a little bit before, but I think last year I've been using them very religiously. As you can see here, I have quite a few labels, and one of the key ones is, I have a label for marketing, for product. This way, I can really filter out the projects that are, for this theme for a particular day. But also, I have the private label, so I label all the projects that are private projects, just for me and for my, for my wife, for our kids, things like that. I label them with private. This way, on the weekend, I filter out the list with private label and filter out my priorities also with private label. This way, I can only see the private tasks and private projects in Nozbe. So it's kind of like a switch. I switch Nozbe to the private mode. And it's really helpful. This way I can, have my time for my private tasks and make sure that, if somebody writes something in a company task, I'm not just going to look at it. I'm going to look at it on Monday. This way, again, I, keep my peace of mind and, I'm more in control again. So I would encourage you to check out labels and to use label projects. This way you can group them together, with themes or to separate private and professional life. Number 8 is about communicating through tasks. And this one is big. This one is important. I believe we are on the verge of changing how people get things done in team environment. We are already using more communications tools than ever. We use Slack, we use chat things, but for me, the most effective way, and we use, of course, an email, and we attach documents, or we forget to attach documents. We use email in many different ways, but in Nozbe we don't. In Nozbe we use email only to communicate with the external world. And my email is michael@nozbe.com, and feel free to email me. I am in touch with the world, but within the team, we don't email ourselves. We share tasks with each other in shared projects. So we have this saying in Nozbe: create a task for me, or task me with something. This way, if somebody says, Michael, could you do that? I'm like, create a task for me, then I'll do that. And then in this task, somebody creates a task. In the comment section, puts a comment and it writes exactly what they want from me. And then they hit delegate, responsibility, and then delegate this task to me. And this way I get it pushed to my priority list. And this way I can, get back to it and then see what's up. And for me, this is the most effective way, because this way, in the comments section of a task, I have exactly comments regarding this task and nothing else. I don't have to read about different stories or different things or whatever. I read about this task, what has to be done here, and it's just crystal clear. And the whole history of a task, you can see what happened here, what kind of information was shared, and more. So to give you an example, this is we call it a task ping-pong. This is a situation when you create a task for somebody, you delegate it to them, they respond in a comment, and then delegate it back to you. And then you respond with a comment, you delegate back to them. And it's pretty cool and pretty effective. And here is an example. When I was thinking about getting a printer, and I had a comment here, which printer model I wanted to add. I also added a link to YouTube, which Nozbe automatically created this nice thumbnail, and you can press to watch the video on YouTube with a review of the printer. And I said to my wife, I want to get it for my home office. And then she would say, yeah, are you sure about it? Do we really need it? We don't seem to print anything in color. And I said, yeah, we do, especially, for the kids and stuff. So I went to choose responsibility, delegated to Evelyn again, to her, and then put also a small checklist, as you can see here. Search printer, discuss with wife, and then purchase it, if she says yes. And then, of course, she got back to me and delegated that back to me and said, okay, I agree. Let's buy it on Amazon. So I just bought it on Amazon, and that's it. So it was very easy. As you can see, all the information regarding this printer is here, including a video with a review of the printer. So everything is, all the information is there with this task. So it's not like we sent other messages about it, or sent emails about it, or whatever else. Everything is in this one task. So it's very effective. It's very cool. And this way, Nozbe can enable this kind of effective communication, effective task sharing. And the good thing about it is that not only you get this effective task sharing, what you also get is sync and, of course, push notifications. So, for example, here there's a task from Magda about an article that I wrote, and she pushed it to me. I got it on my Apple Watch. And I'm like, okay, she already did the translation for me. Good. I'm going to check it out and verify it, and I'm going to post this onto my blog. So very nice. I get the push notification, what's happening. Thanks to this, delegate task, you get the push notification. So this is really, really helpful. And what's even more helpful is as you notice, in the comments, you can add videos from YouTube. You can add rich comments, but you can also add documents from Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, Evernote notes. So whatever you want, you feel like doing. So you can attach it to the task. This way, all the information is there. You don't have to ask for the latest version of the document, latest version of something. Now what we've added also in Nozbe is the fact that when you drop a document on a task, also on the iPad right now on the iOS 11, the document is added directly as uploaded as a comment to Nozbe. And if you use our server, so if you upload directly to Nozbe, we upload it encrypted. So your document is completely safe. So even the confidential information, confidential deals, contracts, they're all safe and encrypted. That's why many law firms right now have started using Nozbe, because they know that the information that we keep is secure. They know that we have the triple backup technology. So all the information that you have in Nozbe is backed up 3 times to 3 different continents live. This way, even if our main server blows up right now, we can set up Nozbe right now in just a few minutes on a different server with the same information before the blow up. So nothing will get lost. And this is so important for us, and that's why increasingly more and more companies and even law firms are using Nozbe, because they know it's safe and secure, and the documents are encrypted. So this way, again, you don't have to ask for copy me over email this document or whatever. And as you know, actually sending documents over email is not that safe, because emails are not encrypted, and emails go via plain text. So it's more secure to use Nozbe to exchange documents than use email. All right, number 9. So and it comes back to this. avoid meetings. Meetings are toxic, and we know that, but we still have meetings and we still need meetings, but we need better meetings. So if you've been following us long enough, you know that we have this pyramid of communication. And the most important thing for us is deep work. So this is work where we really contribute. This is where we use our brains, to get the job done. And the second level is feedback. And this is the feedback that we talk about, this asynchronous feedback. So the feedback, for example, like I just mentioned in point number 8, when you communicate through tasks, when you add a comment, you delegate a task to somebody, you don't need a quick response. You know that the person will respond to you. You trust them, they will respond in their time, when they have the time to respond. So this way you get the feedback, and there's the feedback loop. And then on the third layer is back and forth. So this is when you send messages, quick messages, Slack maybe messages, or iMessage. And then the next level is direct one-on-one communication. And then last resort is the meeting. Because meetings are costly, and meetings are very, very often not planned very well. So before you plan a meeting, what I would encourage you to really, in your Nozbe account, start sharing projects with people. You can go to each project, this one, like this one, blogging here. You go to the section I, the information panel, and you share the project with people. And this way, as you can see, you can delegate tasks, something we just discussed, and like really on this one page, on this on this task list, you can see exactly who's responsible for what, where are the new comments, who's commenting on what. I mean, what needs to be done, where the project is at, instead of sending emails back and forth. That's why instead of meetings, before that, plan the project here, and not like very often people would say, we have to plan a project, let's do a meeting. No. Plan a project ahead and then do a meeting if you need to iron out the details. But first plan it as a shared project. It's so much easier. And second thing, I would give you like a different advice, not related to Nozbe, but actually how we work, is don't participate in meetings if there is no agenda before. So we really are strict about it. And for example, we have this meeting called Design Fight, where we talk about design, and then we fight about features of Nozbe we want to implement. We really, there's a nice bunch of people that always meet every week, and we talk about it. But before the meeting, there is a strict agenda, and there are articles written by somebody. So somebody, took up an idea, wrote down the idea, and then posted it for everyone to see. So before the meeting, we have to go through these write-ups and read them carefully, and then prepare feedback, and then we give feedback on the meeting. But if there is nothing prepared, there is no topic prepared to discuss, we cancel the meeting. There is no way for us, no reason for us to meet if we have nothing to discuss. And, just collaborative brainstorming doesn't work unless you're prepared. That's why say no to meetings if there is no agenda, if there is no preparation before. That's why in the pyramid of communication, deep work, feedback, and the meetings are at the top. Because without the deep work, without preparation, without the feedback, there is no sense for the meeting. So again, say no to meetings, to bad meetings, to unprepared meetings. But I would encourage you to say yes to productivity. Again, that's why I think this is the best time to get a Nozbe account. Again, because you will be equipped with your Nozbe account, with your tool for your projects and tasks, for not only for this year and to finish this year, great, but also for the whole next year until almost the end of December. So this way you can really get stuff done now. So go to nozbe.com/now and get it, and get the discount, and when you pay for a year in advance, and you get 3 additional months. So it's a great deal, and it expires tomorrow. So really, there is really no time to wait. Do it now because the offer expires and then it's done. And actually, we will be changing a little bit the pricing starting from October. And the pricing for 1 to people accounts is going to be a little bit more expensive. So it's good to secure the prices right now, and really get the 15 months you're going to get at the prices right now. But if you're thinking about collaboration in Nozbe, about what we just discussed, so sharing projects and delegating tasks and using Nozbe in your business, we will have brand new Nozbe business accounts. So Nozbe business accounts, we've introduced them year and a half ago, and now they've been selling pretty well. And now we are actually getting the prices a little bit down. So we will have the tiers like 10 for 10 people, 15 people, 20, 30, 50, 100, and unlimited. And this way, the unit cost of a Nozbe account is going to go down. So these prices will be announced in October. But if you go to nozbe.com/now, you can already check the prices out. And if you want to start Nozbe for Business, they are better prices than what we currently offer. So you can grab them and secure them already. And on top of that, get 3 months free. So really, you can, it's a great offer. Then you can have both, the new prices for business accounts and still 3 months free. So make sure to check it out. These are the new plans, and we're going to introduce them next month. But for these people who want to get the best offer ever, check them out and then get the 3 months and the new prices. All right, let's get back to our presentation and to get back to our tips. So 10th tip is like we just made a full circle. The first tip was to take a deep breath, is to review what you have to do. And then the last one, the 10th, is again about reviewing, but it's about regular reviewing. It's about routinely reviewing your tasks, your projects. So this is what we discussed in the thing about the TGIF. TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday. It's our policy that we make people do the review on Friday. It's an obligatory thing, because we know how important it is. Very easily we schedule meetings with other people, but we kind of don't have the guts to schedule a meeting with ourselves, with our calendar, with our Nozbe account, with our projects and tasks, to really review them thoroughly and make sure that they still are relevant, So really, I encourage you now to, grab your calendar, put in your calendar a meeting with myself, a review meeting on a Friday or on a Monday, or on a Saturday, whatever day works for you. But really make sure that you put this there, because if you do, you will see your next week is going to be just better, because you're going to have reviewed your current week. You will know exactly what to do next week. Again, I think you still see the pattern here. Like in this webinar, you have pre-decided what to do next week. So all the decisions next week are just easier to do because they've already been pre-decided on a weekly review session. So really, what I'm trying to tell is that every time you pre-decide something, it's like a habit thing. You pre-decide something, and this way you enable your future self to make easier decisions, to make it easy on you. Even when things go really fast and everything is, very complicated, you still can get lots done. So the weekly review is a must. And to help you with that, we have a great Nozbe How template. I mean, we have a few Nozbe How templates created by our users. This one is done by me. This is actually how my weekly review goes down. So make sure to check it out. It's free, and then because it's a Nozbe How template, you can actually steal it. I encourage you to do that, and just I'm sorry, not steal, but really copy it to your Nozbe account. So you can add to Nozbe, push the button to add to Nozbe, and then when you add it to Nozbe, it creates a project for you with these tasks, so you can follow the tasks and just get the weekly review done. So make sure to check it out. It's also, if you go to nozbe.com/now, there is a link to this template. Make sure to check it out. All right. So let's wrap it up. 10 ways to finish your goals in 2017, to really get this year done and then get ready for next year as well. Take a deep breath and really plan what you have to do ahead. Put out the fires, otherwise they will haunt you. Group tasks in categories to batch them together. Add margin to make sure that you really have the time to do everything that you want to do. Plan a day ahead. This way you have decided before and you wake up excited for what's to come. Focus on zeroing out priorities. This is the most important thing, not the inbox zero. The priority is zero. This is the most important thing. Group projects together in labels. This way you can shift very quickly the perspective. Communicate through tasks effectively. Share projects. Start delegating tasks. recognize that you're not only the one that has to do things. And then this way you can collaborate effectively without exchanging emails, messages, having everything in one place. It's so cool. And then avoid meetings and make sure that you're prepared. And if you do meetings, make them, with agenda, prepared, constructive meetings. And review everything regularly. So schedule the weekly review. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. If you want to try Nozbe and give Nozbe a try, I think this is the best moment. This is the best time. So go to nozbe.com/now. And the best part is that we give you our productivity guarantee. We've been giving it for the last 10 years, and we only accept happy customers. So if you're unhappy with your purchase, it's risk-free. We'll get you the money back. So it's not a big deal. That's why we're so confident about it. That's why we're giving even so many months, because we know you will need Nozbe for the next 15 months, because it will just be the tool that will help you get stuff done. So make sure to check it out. Grab our offer at nozbe.com/now. Our team, we're 25 now. Our team has been working hard on this. We just released version 3.6, as I mentioned, of Nozbe, with Siri integration, with searching incompleted tasks, with Google Assistant support, with many cool features and many cool fixes and improvements and all over the place. The new checklist that you have just seen, like lots of cool things. And we keep going. We keep going and we keep improving Nozbe for you. So we've been doing this for the last 10 years, and I still believe we're just getting started. And I think you, out of all people, you are equipped right now with the knowledge and with the tool to really get it all done. So make sure to check it out. Go to nozbe.com/now. Get our offer, because it's going to expire tomorrow. And, have a great 2017 and great 2018 with us, with our tool, and, with us on your side. And with that, I would like to turn to questions. If you have any questions, I'm here right now to answer them.
All right, so I'm back, and let's move straight to answering some questions, because we've got many and we have a lot more coming. Let me just choose the first question. It's about our Nozbe How templates. So Heinz didn't really understand where we may find the Nozbe How templates.
All right. So Nozbe How templates. This is a relatively new thing. We introduced it 2 years ago, I think. So Nozbe How templates, because from the beginning, when you're a Nozbe user, you can have projects, and the projects have to have tasks. And the idea is that you can create templates of projects. This way, if you're doing the same project over and over again, you don't have to put the tasks manually back. You can create a template and save it as a template in Nozbe. And Nozbe How templates are templates created by our users. So when you have a template, you can publish it as nozbe.how link. This way, other people can steal it. Or let's copy it and use it, right? So how to get my template for weekly review, just go to nozbe.com/now, and there is a link to nozbe.how/ and then there's this secret link to my template. If you go there, you will see the template. You will be able to use it right then, in the browser, or just add it to your Nozbe account very easily. So Nozbe How templates are templates created by our users that they submitted them to us, and they just wanted to share with the rest of the world. Because I think my idea for Nozbe for the future as well is this idea of sharing knowledge, of sharing, when you have, instead of just sending you a blog post, how to do something in 10 steps, give you a recipe, like you would do cooking, 10 steps to do this, or what I do in weekly review, bam, 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 bam. It's a recipe. So and there are so many recipes created by our users and created by us as well, by our team. So and you can find more if you just go to nozbe.how, just like that. You can find more of them and click on them, check them out. And if you like any of them, import them to your Nozbe account. This way you will create a project directly, and you can then save the template in your templates as well.
Exactly. So basically a Nozbe How template is just like an actionable blog post that tells you some tips. So yeah. you don't have to have the whole blog post written down. You just have actionable tasks in a form of a Nozbe How template, which is really handy, and it's always good to share the knowledge that you have and be able to take from other people. So we recommend using them, and we encourage you to share some of your templates.
When you see the template, for example, that I did, I mean, the weekly review template, you can see that, there is each task, there is a screenshot, so there is a nice motivational, image, and there is a checklist. So it's really a nice way of consuming not only content, but actually doing this. So you can actually follow along, and complete the checklist, complete the task. It's that easy.
Exactly. And it's even better if you have a Nozbe account and you add it to your Nozbe, because then you can simply add your own tasks or add your own comments and just improve the template and to suit your needs. So this is really practical and really comes in handy.
Yeah, because if you import the template to your Nozbe account, you can edit the whole thing. Edit the comments, edit the tasks, add another one. Move them around, to make it really yours. So this template, again, for the weekly review, just grab it, take it, import it to your Nozbe account, and then modify it and keep improving it, because maybe you have a different, you roll differently, every week, and so I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you can also share it with us, and just everyone else will be able to use it to your improved template.
Yeah, and there are templates for many things. And for example, Marcin created a template to learn how to run, and I'm using it right now to train for a race. So actually, it's very cool. I have all these tasks. Every training is written down exactly what I should be doing. It's really cool.
Okay, so let's stay in the topic of templates. Daniel is asking if you ever considered publishing your templates in other languages, such as Spanish, for example.
I think we have a few Spanish templates, right?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask this question, because we translate a lot of our templates, and especially the productivity-based ones. So a lot of the weekly reviews and Nozbe related stuff and productivity-related templates are translated into all our 10 languages. So just go check nozbe.how and you'll find all the templates and languages there. Just browse through them, and they should be there.
Mm-hmm. There's and when you go to Nozbe.how, there are links to all the different language sections. So if you go there, you'll find it.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to another question. A few people have asked, what is the difference between a label and a category, and how do you use them in Nozbe?
Yeah, so it's a good question, a very good one. A label is only to filter out the projects. So on the project list, label is only for projects, and label is personal. So labels, you cannot share labels. Like if you set up your labels, these are your labels. Even if you have people on your team, they don't see your labels. So this is like a personal way of putting. What we have found out is that people want to, put projects differently. Not only alphabetically or move things around, but they also want to group projects their way. That's why labels, and it's only for projects. The cool thing about labels is that when you, for example, label a few projects together, then you can then in priority, you can filter out the tasks by label. What it means is by all the tasks in these projects that are labeled like that. So, tasks in the projects that have this label, right? So these are labels. Categories, on the other side, categories are for tasks and only for tasks. And categories can be shared. So, for example, if you share a project together, and in this shared project, you add a category, for example, like we have, for example, we have a project called Nozbe 3.x, so like the development of Nozbe, and we use different categories for like if something is urgent or not urgent, or for later. So we have 3 categories. This way, everybody can see these categories. So this way is like a different level, not only of you can not only the category is for batching tasks together, it's also for communicating, more about the task. And also it's very useful. So if you want to go to this project and see which features are for later, you just filter them out only for later and you see these features right there. So categories are for tasks, labels are for projects. What do you think?
Yeah, I have nothing to add, I think. You can also, there's one more tip from me. You can also use categories, just like you said, to mark like urgent things, or which is really helpful on your priority list. If you have like some people have different types of priorities, so they want to be able to set a priority number 1, priority number 2 or 3, depending on their importance. And you can do this by creating categories. So you can just create 3 categories with like numbers or just different names to mark your tasks which are more urgent than the other ones. So I think that's also a good tip, and I just agree with everything else that you said on the topic.
Actually, everyone, she mentioned that because she's also working part-time as my assistant. And what she does is something really tricky. And we share a project, CEO, and when she delegates tasks to me, and when she sees that that there are really important tasks that I'm not doing for her, then she adds a category urgent to them in a red thing, So this way on my priority list, I can see these red tasks there. I'm like, okay, Natalia really wants these to be done. So then I filter out these tasks by this category urgent, and then I do them first, and then I deal with the other ones. So this is how she tricks me into doing things for her.
Yeah, and the good thing is that it's also very visual, because the urgent category has an icon of an exclamation mark, and it's also written urgent in caps lock, which like is into your face instantly. Yeah. So that's also a good tip. All right, so let's move on to another question by Tracy. If we complete a project in Nozbe, can we refer to it in the future next year and see last year's notes when the project comes up again? So is it possible to see the archived projects?
Yes, of course. Your tasks are your tasks. We don't delete them, unless you really beg us to do it. so they are for you. So on the project list, there is you can click on the completed projects, and there is a list of completed projects. And unlike the list of projects, which is done the way you want it, so either manually or alphabetically, the list of completed projects is chronologically, right? By
date of completion. Yeah.
Completion. This way, you can just scroll down and see the projects done on last December, and you see the project, and then you open it up, and there are all the tasks there with the comments and everything else. So we can really dive deeper and see what's up. This information is being synced from the server, so it might take a little bit longer to load. But it's all there. And now with the version 3.6 in Nozbe, we introduced searching completed tasks and projects. So right now, when you search for something, for a phrase, and it was used last year in a project completed way back when, you'll find it now. So this is something people have been asking us for a long time. Even more, this is something we've been asking ourselves for a long time.
Exactly.
The best part was that when we got the feature request, we feel you. We need the same thing. Come on, IT. Let's just do it, right? So now in version 3.6 in Nozbe, you can search in completed tasks and completed projects, so we can even find them faster. If you know what you're looking for.
Exactly, and you can also turn on or off the option of searching in comments. So you can either search only task names if you remember the name, or if you don't, you can tick the box that says search in comments as well, and it will search across all your Nozbe data. So that's really exciting. That's the one of my favorite new features in 3.6, and I think that everyone will be happy to see it in Nozbe.
Yeah, Nozbe 3.6, we just launched it. I mean, we launched it for, on day one on iOS 11, but also we launched it with other features. So really, we just launched it. It's a new version. And as you have seen, I also added screenshots from the 3.6 already in this presentation. And I really like the new checklist thing. It's so cool that you can, check everything at once and you see the process, the percent progress of the checklist. It's neat. I really like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I use it all the time, and I really like seeing how much I've actually done of one task, especially if there are like, I don't know, say 13 checklist items, and I'm not really sure like if I'm halfway through or not, and then the little percentage just tells me how much I've done. So that's also great. All right, let's move on to another question by Darko. Are there any plans to add task dependency?
Yeah, we are investigating that right now. I mean, there is no deadline for it yet, but we are investigating that and searching how we can do it. We're literally talking about it and thinking how to do it right, because there are so many ways to approach problem. And this is a good point actually to give you like that. Whenever we get asked for features, we first analyze the root problem, what we want to get solved, what really needs to be done, what's the job to be done, and then we think how we can approach it the best, how what would be the best solution for that. So that's why some features take longer to bake. Some features take longer because of other features are more and more urgent or important, but sometimes it's just that we need to really find out the best way to do it. So this is something we've been working on. So stay tuned. We're working on things, and there will be a new version of Nozbe, later this year. So yeah, we're working on it.
Exactly. And if you have any suggestions, like if you have a concrete use case that you can present to us, just contact us at questions@nozbe.com, and this way we'll be able to save your feature request, and we'll be able to understand better how you want it to work, and how to create this feature, and how to make it so that it fits your needs best.
Exactly. I mean, I think the key word here is the use case. I mean, just really don't be afraid to tell us your story. I mean, I've been doing this like that, and then I'm doing this like that, and then and because of that I would need that, and then because otherwise, and you just give us a story. Exactly what you want to be to be done. This way, it's for us, it's easier to put ourselves in your shoes and really understand the root of the problem, instead of just adding another feature. Because we're not about that. We're 10 years in, and we could have added a lot more features to Nozbe, but we haven't, because we believe in this kind of tool and this kind of structure, and we always make a good decision before we implement something.
Exactly. And sometimes like Nozbe is really flexible, and sometimes there is already a solution to your problem, but maybe you just don't realize it because you haven't really get to know the app completely. And just don't hesitate to contact us. We have plenty of great suggestions and ideas of using Nozbe, because we're talking to you guys every day. So yeah, just don't be afraid, and just write to us, and we'll be happy to help.
Yeah, I mean, on one of the last webinars, I remember we were talking about this personal trainer, and he was asking how to use Nozbe, and we came up with so many ideas how they can use Nozbe, how they can create projects and then tasks as plans for training. Then they can share the project with the customers, or they can create customers as categories. I mean, there's so many ways to approach every problem and everything. Nozbe is very flexible, and this is why we've been so successful, because we create a tool that's really flexible and can fit almost everyone's needs without being complicated. And this is but some features are a bit hidden. That's why if you go to nozbe.com/help, you can really get to know all the documentation, the videos, like more explanation of things, and you can always email us at questions@nozbe.com to really get to as you said, you know it all, because we've been talking to customers for the last X years.
Exactly. All right, moving on to another question. Let's get back to categories for a second. Heinz asks if it's possible to add more than one category to a task.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the idea is that really the categories you can make tasks flexible. The same applies to labels, that you can add more labels to projects. So, for example, I have this label called focus, and these are the projects I'm focusing on right now. And but with tasks, it's really flexible, and you can add many categories. This why, for example, you can have one category, as you said, for prioritization, another one for like a different meaning, whatever you want, like for a tool, like office, telephone, like things like that. Like, so you can create the system of your dreams if you want with the categories. Categories are so flexible. This is like a great feature.
That's right. Okay, and just one more feature request that I have here in front of my eyes, and it's by Nancy. What about project dates? Since projects very often have due dates, it would be helpful to be able to see which projects are due when. So what do you think about adding that feature?
Yeah, it's also on our pipeline. Yeah, we've been studying that as well. So stay tuned. But there's something we've been working on.
Yeah, just stay tuned. It's as much as we'd love to, it's impossible to add all the feature at once.
Mm-hmm,
so
exactly.
We just have to consider everything and just choose the right ones to be implemented in each version.
Yeah, we have to balance out the features, balance out, all the stakeholders who are, who want things done. So yeah, but stay tuned. We are regularly doing updates. It's 3.6 already, and we'll have a 3.61 soon because there are some fixes cool that we have discovered, and then 3.7 is coming later this year, and 3.8 maybe even. So yeah, we're working on it. We're working on things. So yeah, stay tuned and keep them coming.
Exactly. All right, now let's share a bit of how we work at the Nozbe team. So Mark wants to know, would you briefly describe how you use Slack with Nozbe with your team?
Okay, so Slack is our water cooler. This is a place where we just communicate in real time. And the cool thing about Slack is the same cool thing that we have about Nozbe. So Slack works on all the platforms, which is very easy. So like we have people using Android, using iPhone, using iPads, using Macs, Windows, you name it, all the machines. And the cool thing about Nozbe is that we have Nozbe on all these devices. And the cool thing about Slack is we have Slack on all these devices. So we have like one means of communication. So we have channels. For example, we have open channels where people can join freely and discuss things, like Random, one of my favorite channels, or The Firm, which is like our main company channel, where everybody says, I'm going out to eat, or I just came back, and things like that. And then we have channels dedicated to some themes, like, for example, to books or to movies. And then we have secret channels. So, for example, like a few people joined, like, for example, marketing team has one channel, the dev team has one channel just for their internal communication. The directors have their own channel. So like there are a few secret channels. And but mainly the idea is that we exchange some ideas there. But whenever an idea requires action, we add it to Nozbe directly. So we don't do things in Slack. And I really hate it sometimes when sometimes, it sometimes pains me when the conversation, on one hand it's good that it develops in Slack, but sometimes, you want it in Nozbe in the comments, because otherwise it just gets lost, and then, so we try to balance out to, when we discuss something, we discuss it in Slack, like something urgent in real time, but then the less urgent things, we put them in Nozbe, and we try, and if anything is actionable, we put it in Nozbe. So now we're working on a Slack integration that we could easily just, move things to Nozbe. This is our next goal, to make sure that really it, makes Slack messages actionable. This way we can use still Slack as a free chat form, as a more synchronous, like on the primitive communications on the third level, and then still get back to Nozbe on the second level, that we can, have a decent feedback. Because Slack, if you're not following Slack, it's overwhelming. Like all the discussions there happening. That's why all these, constructive discussions have to happen in Nozbe, because this is where things are. We recently switched a few things that we've been doing in Slack, we've moved them to Nozbe because it was just too overwhelming. Like, for example, status reports or reports what's happening in the teams, what's happening in the company. We've been doing that in Slack, and we assumed everybody was reading it, but they weren't. And that's why, for example, we have like a company report or status report of things. We put them in Nozbe in a project we share. Everyone shares the project as task report, like marketing report for the week of like now, the week of 20th of September. And then in the comment, there is the whole report, the information, what's going on. Then this way, we make sure that most of the people read it and then can comment on it and then see what's happening, what's up with the team and with the company. So there is a balancing act there, moving between these two levels of communication, the second and the third level. But we like Slack for its, it's cool, it's hip, it's quick. But then we have to remember that, if anything is actionable, we move to Nozbe and we put it there to make sure that, it doesn't get forgotten, it gets done.
That's right. And just as an example, it's a nightmare to catch up with Slack, with like information on Slack when you go on vacation for a few days, even for one day. It's like sometimes it gets so busy on Slack that it's just impossible to catch up. So if everything was in Slack instead of Nozbe, like it would be just impossible to go on a vacation and get back and to like read everything because there's too many. Yeah, there's just too many messages. So that's why we keep all the important information in Nozbe so that everything can be written and like everyone can just catch up in their desired moment.
Yeah, that's why it's it's a balancing act.
Yeah, and now another question about Slack by Mike. So do you recommend batching Slack responses rather than continually checking Slack during the day? So how do you use Slack? Do you like have it open all the time or do you close it sometimes during the day?
Okay, so I have Slack on my second monitor and opened with Nozbe. I have it in the second monitor. No, I have Nozbe on my main monitor and Slack on my second monitor. This is how I have it if I work on my iMac. But if I work on my iPad, it's in the different app and that's it. And that's why I prefer working on the iPad because then it's in the background. So I'm batching actually my involvement in Slack. And this is what I recommend. So really staying on top of Slack doesn't make any sense because then you really don't have the time to really have deep work and then have focused work. So I come to Slack like 2 or 3 times a day, maybe. And I'm not a completionist. Slack completionist, so I don't read all the comments in all the channels. I have a few channels that are my favorites, and these I read to the end. So these are like, for example, our marketing team, like a few channels which I read always, like the firm, like all these, these I read all the time, and I want to make sure that I complete all these. But there are many channels which are in the company which I just ignore because like, it doesn't make any sense to. I go there every now and then to see what's up and then scroll around and stuff, but I don't read everything that's there. You say it's hard to catch up after you're on a vacation. It's hard to catch up when you're working. So that's why I don't really follow these. And yeah, I think 2-3 times a day I'm joining Slack. Or of course if I want to just talk to somebody or ask them if I can talk to them or send them an urgent information or urgent a message or or just update my team on something, then I do it on Slack. But even if I have a major update, I prefer to put it in our the firm project in Nozbe, our shared project in Nozbe as a task with a comment there instead of just putting it in Slack. So and maybe then I put in Slack information that I have an update which is in Nozbe, just check it out, instead of putting it in Slack. So yeah, to stay sane, I would recommend batching, watching Slack, reading, catching up, and then leaving it. Just like with email, it's healthy not to be on email all the time and have push notifications on email. I have only push notifications in Slack only if somebody directly mentions me or writes me a message. Other than that, I don't have push notifications from Slack. So again, to stay sane, I would remove as many push notifications as possible. Just the most important ones. Like if somebody dedicates task to me, I get a push notification. But with Slack, it's the same. I'm just trying to stay sane and not be drawn into it, because otherwise, again, you don't spend time on the important stuff.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I sometimes do it like I close Slack on my computer, but I have it on my phone, and I just have notifications for direct messages on Slack on my phone. So if there's something urgent, I will get a notification, but I don't see the red dot, the badge icon on Slack on my computer, because that sometimes can be it can get your attention, and you stop doing what you're supposed to do, but you just want to open Slack and see what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got time for one more question, and this is a question from Ryan. What is the difference between the business account and Nozbe Pro? I have me and one assistant currently, and was wondering, what do you recommend for moving forward?
With just 2 people or 3 people, that I would recommend staying with the Pro account. So you can always pay up and go for the business, but the business account is more for like smaller with bigger teams. So if you're 10 or more, the idea being is that in business accounts, the most important features are this: that we give you more care, better support to help you implement Nozbe in your team. And second, you get more admins in the project, and more reports. So really something which is useful for teams of 10 or more. Like if it's a small team, I appreciate the money, but I would tell you to stay on the Pro account, because with the small teams, you can manage without these features and you'll be just fine. So the business account is more for, and actually, because of your question is very good, because and it's just perfect timing. That's why in October, when we relaunched the pricing, which you can already see, and if you go to nozbe.com/now, the new pricing, we will have like the distinction between account for 1 to 2 people, and then small business, and then business. And this way, small businesses will not, think, I'm missing out on something, because they will have some of the features already, and they will have they will know exactly where they stand. So it's a good question, because we don't want to discourage businesses from getting Nozbe Business, but yeah, it's more for 10 or more people. That's the idea, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And if your business can grow, so of course there may be a time where you would want to upgrade to Nozbe Business, but for the start, Nozbe Pro should be just fine for 2 people.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was the last question for today. So, Michael, thank you for sharing all your tips and tricks, and thank you for answering all of the questions. And guys, thank you for sticking around with us and being here this afternoon or evening. I hope you are now motivated and that you've got a lot of ideas to make this year your best ever and achieve all your goals. So thank you again. And Michael, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Well, the most important takeaway from this webinar would be to, for you to take control. You're behind the steering wheel. You are in control. Even if you're an employee, and people give you tasks, you're still in control when you do them and how you do them. So it's really important, these small tips that I gave you today about pre-deciding earlier, about planning, about reviewing. This way you're in control. You're enjoying more your work, and you're just getting more done. So this idea of being in control, pre-deciding before, this way you can really get the most of this year and of next year, and because you're in control, you can also get a Nozbe account and get 3 months additionally. So this as well. But anyway, you're in control, and this way, if you're in control, if you develop these habits, you will get more done.
All right, so go get it, and good luck with finishing all your goals, and we hope to see you on our next webinar. So take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you.